You're listening to Knives in the Road versus the podcast, and we're here to make you think about death and sad stuff.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am your host, Knives Monroe. Thank you for listening. I'm honored. For the first time in 2020, I have a guest face-to-face. I've been doing a lot of remote talks, and they're not my favorite. And I'm actually talking to one of my favorite artists ever, and a great man. Thank you so much for coming into my home during a pandemic. Mr. Adam Moya, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure, man. I got to say, I'm tripping out. This is surreal to me. This is so cool. We met 9 years ago. What was the place I saw you for the first time? I think it wasn't Roosevelt's. It was another place called like Aces or something.
Smoking Aces.
Was it?
It might have been Aces, yeah.
And I remember
going out in Mission.
Possibly. I can recall me and my friends, we were scouting to make, we were just hungry videographer people, and my friend Mark had a web series, and I think I knew he was trying to do a variety show element, and I knew, well, you know what, music would be really, really cool with that. So we were scouting for musical talent. We found a couple of guys, and then we found Landlocked Pirates.
Oh,
cool name, cool bunch of young bucks. It was like, what is this about? And, I've had the pleasure of seeing some pretty cool acts in my time, but that one, I'll never forget that, dude. I can't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can remember the first time I saw Landlocked Pirates, and I heard your pipes, and I was like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. No smoke, and I've told you this before off mic. It was like watching Nirvana for the first time. It was like watching Nirvana play Bleach before they ever made music videos. It was like, is this fucking happening? Like, this is in the Valley? I have to ask, are you a light-skinned Hispanic?
Yeah.
So, me as well. And seeing someone that looks like me take stage in the Valley and just wail, like, had a profound impact on me in many different ways. This was a set, I couldn't even tell you the tracks that you guys played, but you played 4 or 5 songs. You had a crowd of maybe 50 to 70 people in the palm of your hands. And it was one of those moments where I don't have a musical bone in my body, but I felt like, I want to be a rock star. I want to do that. How does anybody do that?
I miss those shows so much because of the crowds, the people. We were a very lively band, we were rowdy. I used to jump through drum sets at the end of every set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we were rowdy.
Yes.
But it was always, the more I was able to give of myself to the crowd, the more the crowd gave back to me. And then it became like this cyclical just energy. Yeah. And to this day, one of my favorite things in the world is playing songs for people, because I feel like even if it's a one-on-one thing, it doesn't matter how many people are in front of me. The more I give, the more it seems to be received, and it's one of the best feelings in the whole world. There's honestly, I think the only thing I love more than that is my son.
Yeah. How is he doing?
He's good. He's 6 now.
I can't even imagine. I don't think I've seen a picture of him or anything, so I don't know what kind of...
I don't really share a lot of stuff online anymore. My life I keep very private to myself.
Obviously.
I like it that way.
Yeah.
I'll show you some pictures in a little.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
He's hilarious, dude.
What's he into?
Video games. Like pretty him. He's 6 years old. So
wow.
Fortnite is
really
big. We had to get kind of creative during this whole pandemic thing to like spend time together. And one of the ways that I figured out what we could do is we play video games every day.
Yeah.
So every night at 7:00, like I jump online and he and I play like Minecraft together or Fortnite or, that's cool. We play games.
Man, that's awesome. Especially now, man. Like I remember when the pandemic hit, like in March, everything was sold out. Like people knew, they were prepared to stay home for sure. But that's cool, man. And I look forward to seeing pictures of him because I can't imagine. Like we had kids. We knocked up gals around the same time, like weirdly. And we got kids around the same time. I think they're like a month apart, man, or maybe 2 months apart.
Yeah.
And so like that's just wild. And so I can kind of having a boy, I can't imagine, because I have a 15-year-old stepson. He's nuts. He's into games as well. My daughter, like I couldn't imagine a male me. I just couldn't. A female version's enough. Oh
man, he's a little smart ass, which makes me happy. We watch monster movies together. I love horror movies. They're just some of my favorite. So we watch things like Aliens and stuff. And
That's
like
so cool.
when someone dies in the movie, he's like, "Well, dumbass, like if you didn't walk down that hallway, you would have been fine." I'm like,
It's got the attitude.
Yeah,
that's so cool, man. But if you were to tell 22-year-old me that you'd be here in my space, like on my podcast, like I wouldn't fucking believe it. This is gonna sound so hyperbolic, and I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable, but seeing you guys play live, and I've been on stage taking photos and videos of you guys. I've been in the audience, and it feels like you guys are bigger than life. You guys feel untouchable. It would be like watching Dave Chappelle's coming to Austin in a couple of days, and it would be like watching that. It'd be like, I can't touch that guy. He's untouchable. That's how you guys were. That's how you still are in my eyes, man.
well, that's very nice of you.
I know it's a little weird. I'd feel uncomfortable if somebody told me that. I'd be like, okay,
I'm just a monkey.
I say the same thing, but it's just nuts having you here, man. So, how much time do you have?
I've got a good hour or two.
Okay, cool.
Time.
Cool. I want to be mindful of your time for sure. So I have just a couple of questions. I know you have your guitar, and I want to hear some music, but just for contextually for my listeners, how did you get into music?
I grew up in a pretty musical family. My mom sang in the church choir. My dad tried to sing in the church choir. I played the violin when I was 10 years old. I was in mariachi. Mm-hmm. I've played music my whole life. Mariachi had a huge impact on me. There's a difference between like classical music and playing mariachi for people. I remember the first gig I ever did in the high school mariachi. We played at like a high school pep rally or something, like before a football game. Mm-hmm. And classical music, it's fair. I sit here, the crowd's over there. People politely clap when it's done. And it's cool, and I love classical music still. Yeah. But with mariachi, man, like you're up in people's faces, and again, it's kind of like I was talking with the Pirates. The more you give, the more the crowd gives back, and that energy changed my life.
Yeah,
like I knew from that moment on, like I want to perform music for people because it's the tits.
Yeah, it's interesting that you discovered a passion by doing it. Growing up, did you ever see heroes or icons that maybe struck a chord with you and you're like, I want to try that? What's that like? Did you have heroes like that?
Not so. My family has terrible taste in music. I grew up listening to like The Sound of Music and Garth Brooks, and I can't stand either of them. It's just not my jam. Like, if it's for you, that's cool. It's just I don't much care for it.
Yep.
So I really started discovering music in my teens when I discovered things like punk rock and metal and indie rock and just all of those things.
Who are your guys?
I guess, I take it back. I retract that statement. There was one band that when I saw them, I was like, I want to fucking do that. And it was the December Drive.
I've never heard of them.
They were a local Valley band. They were an indie band from the Valley.
Really?
My sister Cassie was dating their lead guitarist when I was like 16 years old, 15 years old.
Do you remember that guy's name?
Toby.
Really? Wow.
His name was Toby. And I went to go, at these little shows at a place like Athena's Coffee Shop, like little places around McAllen where you see like punk rock bands and shit, like the VFW.
I remember that.
And I got to see the December Drive, and it really just blew my mind. I was like, I remember hearing that sound for the first time, and it was just different than anything that I'd listened to because, again, Garth Brooks and The Sound of Music. And wow. They did like indie rock, and it just blew me away. It was something I'd never heard before. It made me feel things that I didn't know I could feel in my heart with music.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that band. I was probably their biggest groupie.
How long before you wrote your first song? And how do you begin to write your first song?
So my first band was called No Clue.
Was it KNOW? Were you trying to be edgy?
No, it was No Clue because my nephew at the time watched a bunch of Blue's Clues. And we were 16 and we thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And I somehow got wrangled into being the singer for the band, and I didn't really sing. Like, I kind of sang in mariachi a little bit, but that was it. And I didn't play guitar. I didn't.
Really?
So one of my friends played the guitar and another played the bass, and like we got a drummer here and there. We never actually played a show.
Wow.
We just made noise in garages, really.
Yeah.
And that's when I started writing songs, and they were terrible. Just so bad.
Like, how were they bad? Like, give me an example.
Poorly crafted songs. I didn't sing in tune very well. My voice hadn't kind of found itself. Like, the way I sing now compared to what I was trying to do when I was 16, night and day.
How did you find the way you sing now?
By refusing to shut up.
Yeah?
I'm slightly contrary.
How do you mean?
Well, when someone tells me you can't do that, I generally say, well, fuck you, I'm going to do that. Because I want to. Now I want to even more. Yeah. I had finished a mariachi gig, and we were walking back to the car. My family came up to see it. And my sister, Cassie, I'll never fucking forget. She looked at me, she goes, maybe you should just stick to the violin and like not do the singing thing so much. And I was like, well, fuck you, dude. And then, as I was discovering my voice, and I wasn't good, like you get good by doing it over and over and over again. I remember I had friends who were like, dude, stop singing. Like, you're just loud. Like, you need to stop. And I just refused to.
Wow.
That's it. It was just perseverance.
Yeah, I've seen you play live maybe 5 to 10 times. You're so confident on stage. Like, I've seen mainstream acts, like you have, I'm sure, and I've never seen anybody with your confidence. Something
magical happens. I call my guitar my power animal. I hate public speaking. Like, I get real nervous. I get flushed. I sweat profusely. Like, it's disgusting. But you put a guitar in front of me and give me a microphone, and something just kind of takes over. And
do you, like, get into a character or something? A persona?
I think, especially in the early Pirate days, I definitely did. I mean, we wore the vest and the ties, and we were super rowdy, and I jumped through drum sets. And I think that was kind of a persona I took on. Like, it started off as a persona, and then it slowly just kind of became who I am on a stage. Like, now that's just what I do. I get very into the songs that I play, and I get very emotional about things.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a persona. Maybe it's just kind of an extension of myself that is hard for me to share with the world when I'm not playing songs.
Yeah, you turned up to 11, maybe.
Yeah.
How did Landlocked Pirates form? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
It's so... I had a bunch of songs. I just, because I write songs. And a friend of mine named Steve, he had some recording equipment. So it started off with just me recording acoustic songs and him recording, like, percussion stuff in the background. And we made a little album. It was called Sin, Sex, and Sarcasm.
Yep.
Because those are 3 of my favorite things.
Yeah. What were the tracks on that album?
Oh, man. Let's see.
It was like 4 or 5 tracks, right?
Oh, it was like 10 tracks.
Oh, I don't think I have this then.
Yeah, I have like one copy on a hard drive somewhere.
Oh my god.
And it's really poorly recorded.
Back it up on the cloud, man.
Yeah, it's there. And I mean, so one of the title track was called Sin, Sex, and Sarcasm because that was one of the songs. And like Being a Drunk was on there. Peter and His Keys. I wrote the song about how this guy, like, he knew the devil was coming for him, and he knew, like, because he hung out with degenerates, and God probably wasn't going to let him in, or Peter, like, guarding the gates of heaven wasn't going to let him in, so he took his soul, and he tied it to some keys, and he tossed them out into the ocean. So when the devil was pulling his soul down out of heaven, he grabbed the keys to the gates of heaven, and was like, haha, I got my soul and the keys to heaven, I'm getting in now, fucker.
Wow.
And, like, sneaks his way into heaven. It's a cool song.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, there are a lot of songs like that. Like, I really started, like, developing my storytelling chops in that album.
When you get and you guys have had different, a different lineup with Landlocked Pirates, and then I remember Business for Thieves.
There was a Business for Thieves for a little while. Yeah,
I remember. There was this one track, and I'll get to it later, on SoundCloud. Dude, I must have heard it like 20 times a day, every day for maybe 2 years. But when you grab the original crew, the original band, is there a discussion that's had of, hey, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, don't write this, I'll take care of this, or like how does that get figured out?
It kind of happened organically. Like, so my friend Steve, who helped me record that first album, he was also a very talented lead guitar player. And he and I had really great chemistry together when it came to the songwriting.
Is this Gutierrez?
No, Steven Aguia.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Dead ringer for young Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Fucking spot on. Mm-hmm. So he and I would write songs to. I would be like, okay, I would come up with a song. I'd be like, okay, here's a concept. And then, we would hash it out, and I'd write all the lyrics and shit, and he'd write lead guitar parts, and then we'd bring it to the band and be like, all right, band, this is what we have. You're the bass player. Figure it out. You're the drummer. I trust you. Figure out something. And sometimes there'd be a little bit of direction. I'd be like, hey, you should do like a little more chug-a-lug on that part, or this needs to be like booming and a lot of tom work. But for the most part, I've had the really good fortune to work with great musicians. So I don't really have to tell them anything. I just have to be like, look, here's a song, and then they magically write parts that make my song sound good.
Wow. Was there, because you know how guys are, and from my experience, for some people, I'm not their cup of tea. I have a very animated personality, I'll say, and people confuse that with egocentric and arrogant and things like that, which, I can understand, not without reason, right? But when you get a couple guys together, like was there an ego? Was like, how do you have those conversations?
Being in a band is like being in one of the worst relationships you've ever been in, because there's fighting and all that stuff, and nobody ever gets laid. Like, there's no makeup sex because you're not having sex with your bandmates.
Okay, so you're saying that, you're confirming that right now. There was none of that.
There was no sex between any of the bandmates.
That's a bummer.
But I mean, there were fights.
Like, how does that synthesis? When do you say, okay, we got it, let's move on to something else, or what?
Usually that would be me making those decisions most of the time, because they're my songs. So I'd be like, all right, I mean, if something wasn't what I wanted it to be, then usually just a discussion, like, I don't know about that part, maybe we can change it to this. But again, most of the time, the musicians I worked with were just wonderful, and I didn't have to worry about doing those things. I just had these great people that I got to work with. They did all the hard work for me, really.
What are some of your favorite highlights during the Landlocked Pirates run?
Our comeback show that we played at Simon Says. We just finished recording Another Drink, which is a little EP. It's on Spotify. I had just signed a contract with Doug Goldstein, the manager of Guns N' Roses. And we did this comeback show at Simon Says, because that's the first place we ever really got to play as a band.
I think that's where it was. Where I first
Simon
saw
Says?
it.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember the name.
Simon Says, little shitty dive bar. I love that place.
Yeah, I still remember it.
And it was just an exhausting weekend. Like, I did an acoustic performance the Friday before, and then my bass player flew in from Colorado, and we practiced all Saturday and all Sunday to make sure we had these 5 tracks down. And then we hit the studio on Monday, and we recorded all of our songs on Monday. And then on the Tuesday following, I went and did all the vocal parts, and we had some extra time, so we were able to bring in like a horn section for one of the songs, which is my favorite. And then that Wednesday following, we did that show at Simon Says, and we put on like a 2-hour set. And I mean, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I've been so stressed about like the recording and all the stuff that I slept maybe 3 hours the whole weekend. I ate twice.
Fuck.
Like, I did, eating and sleeping weren't priorities at the time.
Wow.
And we packed Simon Says. We were easily beyond their capacity. I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder from the stage of Simon Says all the way to the door. You couldn't move. I feel really bad for the bartenders. They did not think, like we didn't think, that this many people would show up. And I mean, it was just slam packed. and people sing along to some of the old songs that we have, which is one of the best feelings in the whole world. When you've got a whole room full, hundreds of people who are singing your words to your songs. Like, I remember at one point I just stepped back from the microphone and kept playing, and they sang the chorus, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, it was a humbling and wonderful experience. I cried at the end. Like,
were you able to soak it in, enjoy it, be present amidst all that stress?
I think during the performance, it was just kind of one of those things. Like, I'm there to perform. So while I was on stage, it's a high, it's a rush. Mm-hmm. The bar went through, they ran out of beer almost.
Wow.
We had they always had in the freezers 3 giant bottles of Jaeger. And we drank all of the Jaeger in Simon Says.
Wow.
It was stupid good.
Yeah.
But during the performance, it was a performance. It's what you do. Like, you dress up in your vest and your tie, and you make sure all your pedals are right, and then you play songs the best that you can for the people who decided to come out to support you.
I know I went to one of your goodbye shows. I don't know if it was the one, but I went to one. You guys may have had like a farewell tour.
Yeah, we did. Well,
I went to one. I want to say it was like April 15.
Yeah, and it was at Aces North in McAllen.
Correct.
And I didn't think the band was going to be able to go on anymore. I just had my son. My wife at the time had her stroke. So life was just a little chaotic, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do any more music anymore. So we did a farewell show, and that one got rowdy.
Yep.
There was crowd surfing. I remember at the end, that's right, we brought Dezora and some of the Los Gagaleros on stage with us, and they played O Mio Mai with us at the end of the night.
That's right.
Yeah. We got rowdy during that show. That was a good one.
That was the last time I saw you guys live. And so that big show after your recording was after.
Yeah, that was after. That was, I think, in 2018, 17?
Oh, wow, okay.
2017.
By then I must have moved. Did Landlocked Pirates die?
Pretty much.
When did it die? And how did it die?
So I'm divorced now, right? And after I asked for the divorce, some really terrible accusations came out about me that are all fucking false. And it ruined my name. It ruined the band name for a lot of people. I lost a lot of friends over it. And I personally spiraled into a terrible, deep depression.
Damn, man. I'm sorry.
It took me years to
recover. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's taken me several years to get to like a place in my mental health where I'm not sad all the time.
What year was that? Like, when was the event?
2017.
Fuck.
We had just had our comeback show, and a month later, it all went to shit. Like, we had that great show at Simon Says where we packed the walls and rocked everybody's socks off.
Yeah.
And then it all fell apart.
Fuck. When did you recover? When did you realize, like, I'm out of the darkness?
It started this year.
Really?
It took probably until this year for me to start. I didn't realize how much, like, my wife having her stroke, and then the accusations, and losing my band, and losing my family, and just all of these things that had happened. I didn't realize how much it had turned me into an angry, depressed human being. And I had become a very angry, depressed human being.
Angry, depressed.
Yeah.
What is, because I know the depression where I'm in my bed, I can't take off my shoes, and I can't do anything, like a paralyzing depression. What is angry, depressed?
A little bit of that. There are days where I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't clean, couldn't eat, I just sit there and sulk all day long. And then angry that I pushed away a lot of the people that are important in my life.
Why'd you do that?
I think I was partly scared. All these accusations happened, and I'd already lost a bunch of friends over that. And I think because of that, I became angry, which led to the depression as well. Yeah, shit went sideways. And that left me just angry. I was mad, and I didn't want to deal with anybody. It's one of the reasons I'm not on social media anymore. Like, I don't want my life out there. It still, to this day, kind of scares me to be part of any kind of world outside of my immediate friends and immediate family.
Yeah, wow. We hear a lot in cultural osmosis, which is another way of fucking saying the internet, about cancel culture. Do you feel like that happened to you?
Yep.
It did happen to you.
Absolutely. We were going to play a show, and people like boycotted it. Like, they protested one of my shows once. They called all the other bands, like, you can't play with this fucking monster. And people just dropped like flies for a while. And a bunch of people that I thought were close to me and knew me better than that. People that I had shared the stage with before, and for me, that's a very special thing.
Yeah.
Like, sharing the stage with someone is important. Like, this is my religion. This is where I find some of the greatest joy and peace in my life, and that's being on stage. And sharing that with people, I think, is important, and it means something.
I've never talked to anybody, let alone someone that I care about, who's been quote unquote canceled. So this is like a question I've never found myself thinking of asking. What could the people who didn't believe you, who abandoned you essentially, or what have you, what could they have done different, do you think? And I'm not looking at it, I'm looking at it as someone who, if I'm ever in that situation and there's someone where I'm in that scenario, I'm a big believer in when to double down as a friend or as a brother. Like, this guy really needs me, even at his lowest. At his lowest, he really needs a brother right now. That's what he needs. What could these people have done?
Those people still exist in my life, and I love them. Sorry, I thought I turned the volume on this down.
It's all good, man.
I'm still making noise.
You are a hot shot. I knew it. Just so popular, man.
I'm so popular.
Is that Spotify right now? You're getting dings every time?
Spotify? No.
What could they have done different?
Ask
What does someone
questions.
do?
Ask questions. Like, when you hear something really horrible
Is it
about
any
somebody,
of their business?
Well, when you hear something really horrible, when someone's accusing someone of doing horrible, monstrous things, and they're your friend, or at least you think you know them, I think you ask questions, give them a chance to at least defend themselves before you just wholeheartedly and without any other thought cancel them.
Do you think those people would have listened to you?
I don't know. I'd like to believe so. I still think people are pretty decent.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So a 3-year, I look at it like, this is me being an optimist. Depression, like being in a cocoon, and hopefully you emerge, right? 3 years, you're in the sunken place. How do you get out?
Good friends. I still to this day have some very good friends, and they have just been there for me. I mean, it's people. People are the most important things in your life, and they can hurt you the most, but they can also help you save yourself from yourself when you need it.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky to have some friends who did that for me.
Oh, man. What is your relationship with the RGV like? It's an entity.
It is. And, I miss some of the people down on the RGV. I miss some of them. But I don't ever really want to go back.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me enough money to move back to the RGV.
And why is that?
I think it's still a little behind the times. And I just don't feel like I belong there anymore. I left it. I moved to Houston. I lived there for about a year and a half.
How did Houston treat you?
I love Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still going through my own personal shit, and that kind of ruined like my Houston time because I did it to myself. But I love Houston. I know everybody talks shit about it, but I think it's a great city. Everyone there that I worked with, that I became friends with, took me in with open arms. They didn't know me. I was just this new guy who showed up out of nowhere. And they took me in and treated me like a friend, and that's something that I think I needed.
You're a wicked musician who has put in the reps. I know a lot of aspiring musicians who have lofty dreams but haven't put in the reps. And so I feel like their road is really, really long. You know, they're still on home base. They haven't, hit the ball yet. For someone who's been around the block a few times, what is your thoughts on music scenes? Right now, all of America, there's no scene, right? But Austin has the reputation for being the Austin live music capital of the world. What are your thoughts on where it is? For someone who's a creative, I don't know if you identify as an extrovert or an introvert, but surely, you said to yourself, performing is like your church. What does that future look like?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really going out and playing in bars right now. People and everyone that I've played for in Austin has been really receptive of the music that I play. People seem to like my shit, and that's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
So hopefully in, the near future, I can go back to playing songs for people. I don't know much about the scene here because I moved here last December, and then 3 months later, pandemic and everything shut down. For a little while, I had a regular Sunday gig at Hole in the Wall. I played every Sunday.
How was that?
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Sometimes there's 3 people in the bar. Sometimes there's 20.
Wow.
Let
me know next time you play anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know where that's going to be.
Yeah.
These days.
It's going to happen.
But it will, because I love this shit.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
I know. What are your ideas with technology and performing? How do you marry those two? Like, I have this delusion, if I was a talented musician, I'd be on Facebook Live every day and I'd be putting on shows. Is that conceivable? Is that realistic?
I did that for a little bit with a roommate that I had when I first moved here. I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's just not the same. Because like I said, playing for people, that's where my heart's at. And playing into a camera just doesn't feel the same. It's not what I enjoy. But the times, they are changing, and that seems to be what people are doing a lot now. So every once in a while, like when I write a new song, I'll put it on my Facebook page. I'll post it up. I'm like, hey, look, here's a new little thing. But like playing shows for like Facebook Live and stuff, I personally don't enjoy it.
May I ask you, just occurred to me, what's the biggest payday you've ever got from a live show, a performance? Yeah.
I think it was that last time in show, and we made like $1,000.
Wow.
From the door, like we made $1,000, and then like from liquor sales too, like we got a cut of that because they were astronomical. But usually, I get like nothing. What
are your ambitions and goals for? I mean, how do you get satiated? Obviously, the dopamine of playing in front of a crowd, but what about money and fame and stuff like that? Surely there's a relationship with technology to be seen. I wrestle with this as well.
I figure if people are going to listen to my music, they're going to listen to my music. And, I can put it out on Spotify. I think I'm actually going to record again soon, which I'm pretty excited about.
Wow.
My friend Vicky Camacho, she's got a beautiful voice. We've known each other since, like, middle school. And she and I write some, I think, really beautiful things together. So, that'll happen. And then I think she's moving here to Austin. So maybe if she moves here to Austin, we can, play some shows together and just kind of see where it goes from there. I think getting in, like, if you're going into it with, like, I'm going to be fucking famous, I don't think that's healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a healthy mindset. If you do it because you love it, and then maybe people catch on and people notice that you love it and that passion is shared with the world. If that gets me famous, that'd be real cool. I mean, if I could just play music and not work ever again, that'd be awesome. But I don't want to get famous if it's for the wrong reasons. Like, I want people to like my music because it's emotional and powerful to them in some way. And that seems to be enough for me, honestly. Like, I mean, yeah, there's that bit of me that's like, it would be really cool to play, like, giant arenas and shit, because who doesn't want to do that? Like, you'd be lying to yourself if you said you didn't. That's just not the goal anymore. I think it might have been when I was younger, but now I just like playing music.
When you were in the depth of the sunken place, did it taint your relationship with music, your love, your passion for it?
Yeah, I didn't write anything or play anything for like 2 years.
Wow.
I just
Why? Because you couldn't?
Yeah.
Did they take that away from you?
Kinda, yeah. For 2 years, I went to a couple open mic nights here and there. But I mean, it'd be like once every 3 months. I'd go and sing some songs at an open mic night. And then I didn't write any new music. I didn't write any new songs. I didn't touch my guitar. It just sat there and collected dust. I used my guitar amp as a TV stand.
Wow. Those fuckers. I'm sorry, man. It fucking sucks.
Such is life.
Yeah. I feel like someone's going to dig up something on me and my time will come, and I don't even know how to... I mean, it's really easy to say, I'll handle it with grace. You know, you just...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a fighter getting knocked out in public. Like,
yeah.
It fucking hurts. Publicly.
It publicly hurt. It really did affect me. I fell apart. Enough to where I didn't play music for 2 years.
Yeah, it's devastating, man. Well, here you are in 2020. You said you have some new tracks.
I do. I've been writing this year. So I started writing again, which was really exciting to me.
How do you know when a song is done?
You just know. It feels right. Like there's one that I just wrote. So my camper that I live in, her name is Montana. And I love my camper. When I first moved in, it was dirty. Like no one had lived in it for like a long time. There was like a leak in the roof. Like it was just bereft of love. And I spent days just cleaning and rearranging and making it a space where I was comfortable by myself. So I fell in love with my camper, and I wrote a love song to my camper. It's called Montana Meets Texas, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's hands down, I think, like one of the more beautiful songs I've ever written. And what I realized, like during the process of writing this, it's also very like an emotional thing. I realized that it's not so much that I'm in love with a camper. I'm in love with this space that I've created for myself. This new form of comfort. This new home that I have. And then, you know, when the lyrics seem like they're done, and you should see my lyric books. They're full of scratch outs and cross. Like, I mean, I look like a crazy person writing shit down, and I'll burn through the same lines over and over and over and over and over again until I find the right syntax and the right phrasing and the right message that I'm trying to convey in the song. And then when it's done, you know, it just feels right. It feels like a song. Like before it's done, it just kind of feels like a patchwork of notes and ideas. But when it's done, you just feel it.
When I was a little kid and I heard Yesterday for the first time, you know, the impression I got being a dumbass was, okay, the Beatles got into the studio and somebody clicked record and they played the whole thing and that's that.
That was it.
So, I mean, but I have a feeling it's not like that. When you write something like Oh Albatross,
that one took me like 9 months to write.
I was going to ask, like, does it come in pieces? Does it come in chunks? Like, how do you know it's like, oh, here it is. Here's the silhouette. Here's the shape. Like, how do you know? How do you chisel that?
There's some songs that I've written in one sitting. I sat down and the song was like, here's a fucking song.
Wow.
And that's very rare. It doesn't normally happen that way.
That's like catching a big fish.
Yeah, it's just early morning whiskey songs. I wrote that one in one sitting. Like, I sat down with a bottle of whiskey at like 7 in the morning. And early morning whiskey songs was the result of that. Songs like Albatross, I remember I came up with the guitar parts for it. And I knew I wanted it to be something nautically themed. I knew that much.
Wow.
And then I played around with lyrics for 9 months. It took me to figure out like what the story was going to be and who the narrator was and what was his journey and all that kind of stuff. It took me a while. And it's kind of like process of eliminate. I feel like it's chiseling away is the best way to think about it. It's like you have a piece of granite in front of you and the song's hidden in there. Like, it's inside the granite. And you start chiseling off a corner here and a corner there, and you shave it down over there, and before you know it, you're like, okay, well, this is the shape of this thing that I've been trying to make. Yeah. That's,
wow. Well, I'd love
that's
to
how I
hear.
do it.
I'd love to hear your love song for
My
your
love
camper.
song for my camper.
Yes, sir. Get comfortable. Do what you need to do. And ladies and gentlemen, Adam Moya.
I'm falling in faster than you're falling apart. Like it when we work on your dreams that are tarnished and forgot. Can't shake these silly pains. I've been crying for days. At least I got Montana and her heart in her embrace. She's the kind of love you need. She's a little rough around the edges, but she's home when you need her to be. She wore cobwebs for crowns the day the faded gave us. I had traveled through towns in a riddle of winding roads. Oh, we both bear the scars of the memories that kept us chained up. There's comfort now knowing my scars don't sleep alone. Well, the hills hug her gentle and sweetly, and the stars pour down on her while we're dreaming, and the trembling she feels like there's death at her heels, and her shakes come from love and fear of the rain. Oh, Montana, tumbled in a kingdom made of clay and lying trees. Oh, my Montana, well, you can tumble right into me. Oh, Montana, tumbled in a kingdom made of clay and lying trees. Oh, my Montana, well, you can tumble right into me. Well, you can tumble right into me. She wore cobwebs for crowns the day the faded gave us. I had traveled through towns in a riddle of winding roads.
Wow. Sorry, I'm a little speechless.
It's a good song.
It's a good song, man. With your music, I hear pictures, That's when I know that someone's making something at just a higher equilibrium than the bullshit you hear, Look, I don't want to be all hoity-toity and say this freshman kind of, the mainstream radio, man, it's all rubbish, I don't want to be that guy. I am that guy. And I like a lot of mainstream stuff. One of the greatest performances I'd ever seen live was Sia, and she's just incredible. She's as mainstream as it gets. But, you know, it's programming. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be passive. Like, it just sounds like marshmallows. Like, there's nothing. There's no density. When I hear your music, like, I see pictures, and it's, like, cinematic.
I like to think that I'm a storyteller.
Yeah, you are a storyteller.
And all these songs, there's stories to them. And because of that, you know, there's motion, and there's ups and downs, and there's a drama behind the music that helps drive the story home. At least that's the goal. Like, that's what I try to do when I'm writing a song. Like, because I want you to be able to feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I hurt, I want you to hurt. If I'm happy, I want you to be happy. Like all of those things, it's about sharing feelings. However dumb that sounds, like, that's what it is.
No, it's not dumb. Wow. What do you call your style?
Fuck me if I know.
What are you doing? Like, I
don't know,
can't
man.
explain it. Like, your vocals too, like what you're doing. Who else sounds like that?
I don't know. That's one of my least favorite questions in the world, honestly, because I don't know the answer to it. People are like, what style do you play? I'm like, fuck me, dude. I play music. I play songs. I play things that make me feel good. Like, however that comes out, like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, I like folk music, and I think I play, like, folky stuff.
Yeah, it feels like that. That's the closest thing I can think of.
But I guess I don't know.
How do you remember a song that you've written? Like, how many times have you performed that one?
That one, at this point, quite a few.
Really?
So I've made some friends here in Leander. And
how is Leander? Because I've just moved here a month ago.
The people that I've met are all wonderful human beings. They're kind and they're supportive of me. They're all like, Adam, you should be writing some more music. And, like, every time they see me, like, hey, will you play that song again? I'm like, yeah, man, I'll play you a song. I don't mind.
Yeah.
So they're very supportive of me. So because of that, like, I get to play the songs for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You just remember stuff. Like, I don't know. I just remember things.
Wow.
Like, I don't, like, it's driven some other musician friends of mine crazy. I don't know what key any of my songs are in.
Really?
I have no idea. I can tell you what chords I'm playing. I don't know. Like, if I take enough time, I'm like, okay, it's these chords. Yeah. But, like, I have to sit down and, like, think about it. That's never part of my writing process. It's never part of, like, I'm going to write it in this key today. Like,
yeah.
No.
Do you have a process?
Yeah. I usually come up with, like, a guitar line first. Like, I something fun or whatever. And then I figure out a melody that I like over that. And then I apply meaning to the melody with words.
I want to hear another one.
Let's do a loud one.
Awesome.
This one's cool. So this one's called The Tyranny of Hurricane Hannah.
Okay.
I like obscure names that have nothing to do with the songs.
I love it.
They say you are what you eat, but she ain't been eating. Since she been drinking, I guess it means that she's poisoned. He's a stone's throw from falling apart by every evening. And the bars where he recovers from another disappointed lover found in his bed. No, I know. The hardest part to weather. And oh, I know. The hardest part to weather is after the storm. Well, a little bit of lightning ain't nothing to hearts like beds were made for. 'Cause oh, I know the hardest part to weather. Oh, I know the hardest part to weather is after the storm. Well, the lesson she should have learned, I guess it went out of season. She's out for little trouble with the gin and tonic double in her hand. If he wasn't such a monster, then he might begin to wonder what's the reason. He's always saying double and he can't stop losing friends. 'Cause oh, I know the hardest part to weather. Oh, I know the hardest part to weather is after the storm. Is after the storm.
Wow.
Loud ones, I know.
I love it. What does your boy think about this?
He doesn't care at all.
He doesn't think it's cool. Can you move this mic just a little closer to you?
Yeah, he doesn't care at all. Yeah, he's
It's funny. Like,
he's not interested in any way, shape, or form in any of the music that I play.
does he think it's like corny or whack, or is he's just not even?
It doesn't faze him. I think maybe
Because that would blow my daughter's mind.
Uh,
She's never seen anything like that.
He, you know, my son grew up with me singing songs all the time.
Yeah.
Or so far, you know, it's just been, you know, Dad sings songs. That's the thing he does.
Yeah.
So I don't think it doesn't register to him that it's any different or anything. There's nothing special about it. It's just, it's me making noise. It tells me I'm loud.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Like, how did you do it live too? Like a 2-hour set. I mean,
Practice.
yeah.
A lot of whiskey.
Is your throat just calloused? Like,
Maybe.
there's got to be muscles there or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's muscles that, you know, and because I do this often enough, those muscles are stronger than, I guess, your average person's throat muscles. I don't know. Yeah, I learned a long time ago that I can belt,
Yeah.
and I've been doing it ever since. So I just recently met this musician. His name's Tim V, and he's phenomenal. Like, he's just an incredible musician. And we were sitting around a fire playing songs, you know, and I went off on my wheel of wailing thing. And he's like, "Are you going to be able to speak tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude. Like, this is just what I do. Like, this is just how my voice works."
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, how would you rank your guitar skills?
Shitty.
Okay.
I don't think
feeling
I'm not a good guitar player.
I had a feeling you'd say that. And vocally, you do something I've never. I mean, I can't compare it to anybody. Like, I don't know what you call what you do.
Making noise.
You know. Like, when was the last time you heard a song and you were inspired and you're like that sound, or, you know?
Oh, I can tell you exactly. It was Somebody to Anybody by Margaret Glaspie. There's this artist, her name is Margaret Glaspie, and she has an incredible voice. And I was just kind of watching Tiny Desk concerts on YouTube, you know, just kind of going through them, finding people. And she has a song called Somebody to Anybody, and I mean, it nearly brought me to tears. It is beautiful. And I was like, that's I want to do that.
What is it about it? I mean,
it's about how she wasn't always very comfortable with this idea of people liking her and like relationships, like romantic relationships, and how like her sister is the opposite of that. Like her sister like wants to be married and all these things, and she's like, you know, I'm cool, just being alone. Like I'm fine, because it's I don't wanna be somebody to anybody. No, I'm good at no one. I don't want to be somebody to anybody. I'm good at no one. And she does it. It's just a solo. It's just her and an electric guitar, and she plays it just her, and it's fucking beautiful.
So, this is the way I see things. There was a while. Do you remember Yadabadia?
Yeah.
Like I had left Donna. I'd left the Valley, right when that place was popping, and right away, you know, people didn't like me because I was recording everybody's sets, and I just, you know, the people that told me, "Hey, take that down," I took it down. I didn't want to burn any bridges, but
Yeah.
I just liked. There were moments, and a few people, and shout out to Luis Gantu. He's a crazy, multifaceted artist. But I saw him with I have it right there. There's that looper. Yeah, that green one. I got it just because it reminds me of him. I don't fucking use it. You want it?
Those things are super fun. I would love to play with
It's
one
yours.
of those. Are you
Keep it.
kidding?
It's yours. Take it before. Yeah, don't. I'm not kidding. Take it. It's funny. I believe in like the Indian tradition of like giving somebody something when they
Yeah.
come to your home. So I knew it was gonna be something. I didn't know what it was gonna be.
I have been considering getting another one of these because they're so much fun.
They are fun, and it's like new. It's never been used. I don't have a power cord, so I apologize. But
Oh, I got one of those.
okay, good.
I got a daisy chain for that.
Okay, Mazel Tov. And I met him at Yedbadia, and he just blew me away. I mean, he just did something so basic, and it was on YouTube, and he saw what I was doing, because he's a young guy, and he was like, he felt like, hey, put that on Reddit, and what if it explodes? And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. It was just my way of giving back to the scene, and there were some people who were working stuff out, and I get that. But I guess all that just to say, presentation matters, but you would have never encountered that track that you were talking about if she didn't put it and expose herself on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm really for that, especially for someone like you. Like, pandemic, you know, I have tons of friends who, all their videographer friends, all their contracts were like cut. You know, it impacted photographers, videographers, editors, etc. It impacted the live music scene, but if the Wi-Fi gets shut off and the power's out and a solar flare happens, you're good, baby. You got your camper.
I got my camper.
You got your guitar.
I got my acoustic guitar.
I mean, you're
and
good.
I got books. Like
Let's build a fire, you know, and put on a show, right? And so for me, I've always envied musicians, and I'm sure I've told you this. And you know, friend of the show, Guillen, my friend Adam Guillen, I just envy you guys, because you could go under a turnpike and just turn up. Like, that's amazing. But, you know, basically I would love to film and showcase and document and just spread this stuff that you do, because I know there's a fucking audience for it. What I was feeling when you were singing was what you do that is the fraction of 1% of what I think how people make it. You know, sometimes pretty people just make it and they're flashes in the pan. You're pretty, but some people are just pretty, you know? And we can name, that list goes on forever, but I think the magic sauce is tapping into emotions, is making people feel something.
Yeah.
Like, that is everything, but not everybody can do it. You almost can't teach it. It's got to come from experience. And you have it, and I just feel like anything that I can do to help just get you exposed and seen, and everything you do will, I mean, dude, you just need an at-bat, right? That's it. Like, and it's gonna jive with everybody. And you know, if I was a rapper or something, I would make a song a day if I could. I would just freestyle every day, and some people have tried that, and I feel like internet language rewards that behavior. Like, you're feeding the algorithm, you know what I mean? And I've seen tons of little indie bands. You know,
just
I have
shitty at
I have
that
a
stuff.
company called Indie Darlings. I have it tattooed right here, and I'm a big believer in that spirit. You know, and I've seen tons of people, quote unquote, make it by just being exposed. And bro, I mean, when I hear your music, it's like a movie. It just needs to be like presented visually, optically that way. And I feel like that's a good fusion to get people to feel emotionally what it is you're doing, especially when they can't experience it in person.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
Well, I'm down. I'm down if you're down. Sure.
I mean, it needs to happen. I remember your story reminded me of Call It a Hell Week when you were recording and then you did that live show at the end. I had a very similar Hell Week promoting my film in 2012, and I really wanted the presentation to feel like a movie. So we had trailers before it, little promo packages, and I knocked on filmmakers' houses, and I was like, you know, I got their trailer, and, you know, I just wanted it to feel like I really cared about that presentation. And we were promoting my friend Mark's show, Cultosaur, and part of the, you know, here in the Draft House, they have these great little promo packages before you see the feature presentation. And so if we screen that on a Saturday, I believe, like on a Wednesday, we filmed the O Albatross music video. And dude, I was burnt out on fumes. It took me 14 days to edit my film, you know, just to put it into perspective. Rewrapped, I think like August 1st, and I had already booked the theater for August 18th. But we wrapped, and I hadn't edited the movie.
Fuck.
So I edited the movie in like 10 days, no going to sleep. I mean, twitches, like it was just fucking bananas, you know. And I don't know how it happened, but I saw a Facebook memory of it recently, and I was like, I'm fucked. I got nothing but the Landlocked music video. Like, I have to do it, you know. And so I remember the setup was weird, but I multi-cammed it and I edited that video. And it's just not to be, I'm not blowing smoke at my ass, but it was just going through the motions. And I edited that video in an hour, which is fast. Yeah. And we did it in one camera, and it's not perfect, but like the feeling was there.
Yeah.
And just any opportunity that I had to amplify what it is you do makes me feel alive, essentially. Even burnt out, and I've been there. But I just would love to do that, and it's just,
well, I got a bunch of new songs.
fuck, man. Like, I don't know what to say. It's just nuts. And my only thing is just to do it service, you know, just to do it justice. That would be the only challenge. But literally what you do is, literally what you do is incredible, man. Let's hear another one.
This one's sad.
Oh, yay. Sad's my favorite.
I used to like the way that you smoked, and the cracks you leave in your throat, and the pretty shoes you wear out to dance, and how you knew all the things that I can't. So I lost you on one terrible cold spring. Didn't know I could cry it hard on my knees. So I dressed you in your favorite dancing shoes. 'Cause that is how I'd like to remember you. 'Cause you gotta dig deep, dig fast. 'Cause that is where my love was last. Yeah, you gotta dig deep, dig fast. 'Cause that is where my love was last. So everyone showed all dressed up in black, and a wicked wind, it howled at my back, telling me to climb myself into the ground. 'Cause that is where my last love was found. So I took the wicked wind for his word. When I dug myself a hole into the earth. Well, I think you like the times I wore a tie. So I'm wearing one on my way to die. Because you gotta dig deep, dig fast. Cause that is where my love was last. Yeah, you gotta dig deep, dig fast. Cause that is where my love was last. Yeah, that is where my love was last. Oh yeah, it is where my love was last.
Wow. Sorry, I muted myself there. Where did that come from?
I was very much in love with this lady, and I thought to myself, like, what would happen if she died? It was just, like, because if you love someone, you fear losing them, and that fear was very real for me. So that's what that song's about, like this idea that, and then it turned itself into this like story in my head, and I imagine it's like this old man who's loved his wife for a really long time, and like I built this whole backstory for this couple in my head. Like they'd go out dancing and smoke cigarettes together, and then imagine loving someone for that long and then losing them. That's painful and sad to even really think about. So that's the story I wrote.
I'm a big meditator, and it's funny because it's like trendy to be a meditator, like I'm mindful and all these things, but I'm very big on it, and it's therapeutic and it helps me. And it's a recurring theme, death, and oftentimes I see myself at my mom's funeral, she hasn't died yet, or my child's funeral, and I'm
that's
like,
scary shit.
It's really scary, and then I get there, and before I know it, I'm fucking crying. And the one person that, like, I can't even hallucinate their death is my spouse. Like, I can't even think about Claire dying. I can't even think about that. Like, that, for some reason, that's hits different, man.
Yeah. And that's,
It'll
I understand.
fuck you up.
I completely understand. So that's what that was. I loved this person, and the thought of losing them, it filled me with existential dread.
Yes. What's that song called?
Dig Deep.
Yeah. I'm very fascinated, and I want my friends who are so talented to win. Like I've always felt.
I want my friends to succeed.
Yeah.
I want all of my friends to succeed.
Yeah.
And when they do, I'm super happy for them.
I feel like if I make it, we all make it. Like,
yeah.
Just, it's a little thing I feel. So I want to help you win. Like, who are artists of careers you admire, like their trajectory?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't pay attention.
Into that, huh?
I don't. I don't know anything about, like, I listen to a lot of music. I listen to music daily.
But this is to your detriment.
In a variety of bands. Well, I don't care.
You don't care.
I love their music, and I love how it affects my life. And when people like tell me cool facts about people's stories, like, that's cool to know.
Yeah.
But I just care about the music.
Really?
Well, that sounds really stupid and shallow.
No,
I know.
you're. I feel like you're so lucky.
Like that's all that matters to me. I don't know the names of band members in any of the bands that I listen to.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. Because I spend a lot of my time listening to the songs. Like that's the thing that they're doing that affects my life. Like I don't care where you were born. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, like, that's not going to change the song for me in any way. Mm-hmm.
Do you set aside time in your day or in your week to write music?
Not really.
So can 3, 6, 9 months go by and you haven't written anything?
I think that's kind of how, like, those last 2 years where I didn't do anything happened. I just put my guitar down and didn't pick it up. But now, especially lately, like, especially because I have a space where I feel comfortable.
A safe space.
I have a safe space.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's Montana. And because I'm there and I have a cat.
Oh.
You know, it's just me and my cat.
Yeah. You are Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, just about.
You are. Yeah.
It's just me and my cat. And you know, when a song comes to me, it comes to me. Like, I just started one like this. And this is generally how it happens. Like, I'm like, oh, that would sound cool. And then I go from there. And so this one's not done. Like, this is what a halfway finished song sounds like. This one's called She's a Swinger. My friend named it. And great job. Good job, Sean. She said, don't look at me, 'cause I ain't the same kind of pretty I was before. She heard if you're bad at tying knots, then tie some more. So she went to task until her hand stuck to her blood and her skin was torn. Until she finally found the knot she was aiming for. Well, everybody's gotta go, but she doesn't wanna go the same. Oh my Lord, she wanna swing. Oh Lord, she wanna swing. Well, she doesn't wanna go the same. Oh Lord, she wanna swing. Well, everybody's gotta go, but she doesn't wanna go the same. Oh Lord, she wanna swing. Oh my Lord, she wanna swing. Well, she doesn't wanna go the same. Oh my Lord, she wanna swing.
That sounds finished to me.
No, like, it's nowhere close to done. It needs more. It's like, it needs more.
What else does it need? Another, I don't know.
Another verse. The story's not done yet.
Oh, I see.
Like, it needs more because the story's not done.
Yeah.
And that's how I know the song's not done, because I haven't finished the story yet.
All your, I was going to say sonics, because I look at, this is visual, this is sonics, paintings, right? All your songs have narratives.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
Every one of them. Every song is a story.
Yeah.
It's just how I like to, that's how I like to do it.
Do you ever write something so personal and you're like, I can't say that?
No.
It's never happened?
I don't think so. I mean, think about, like, so there's a lot of songs that they're, like, I have a lot of murder songs. I have murder songs. And I've obviously never murdered anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not a violent person. I've never been in a fist fight. I've never punched anybody in my entire life. It's not my jam. I don't know. Found a way to talk my way out of most of my problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I can talk about murder and, you know, Albatross, dude, that song's full of murder. People die all over that song.
Yeah.
It starts off with the dude, like, the boat is sinking and everybody's dying.
Yeah.
And it talks about how they go and they, like, because they're pirates and they travel the seven seas and steal from a bunch of British people and they murder everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, I figure if I can talk about that in a song, I can talk about anything.
Wow. Can you play me something deeply personal?
Yeah. Let's do one I don't think you've heard. It gets loud. So the song's called Ghost. And it is... I have horrible depression, right? It's there, and it can be crippling at times. And it doesn't ever actually go away. You know, you learn to manage it and deal with it. And like right now, like I said, I'm in a better headspace, and I'm more mentally healthy right now than I have been in a very long time. But that depression is like this ghost that haunts me. So I decided to write the song where the ghost gets a voice. And this is my depression talking to me through a song. Oh shit, I forgot the first words to it. This happens to me sometimes, and that's my own song. Oh, there it is. Got it. All the things that you run from and all your pain, write it in the mirrors when you try and get clean. The rattle in your throat, it makes it hard to speak. Reckon of your life, it's all pleasure to me. 'Cause I am your ghost, and I'm haunting your home. I'm rattling on the doors, and I'm wrecking your halls. So let me haunt you. Let me haunt you. Let me haunt you. So I said, now hold on, hold on. Well, I'll never let you hit the ground. A place where I know you belong. I said, now hold on, hold on. I'll never let you hit the ground. A place where I know you belong. So let me haunt you. Let me haunt you. Let me haunt you. 'Cause I am your friend when you are alone. And aren't you afraid that I am your home? You are the company, you are the guest, I am the host. You better act your best, 'cause I never, 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 never leave you alone. 'Cause I am your ghost. I'm haunting your home. I'm rattling on your doors. I'm wrecking your halls.
Oh shit, dude. I think that might be my favorite song.
It's a good one.
I do think so.
Very emotional for me.
Fuck. That fucking hurts. That fucking hurts, man. Ay, ay, ay.
And that's what that's what my depression feels like. That's the best representation of what my depression feels like in my life.
It sounds like, it felt like to me like a specter shoving a dagger in your heart.
Yeah.
And taking, I was gonna say taking glee in like your wail, but no, it's dispassionate. It's just what it does.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrifying, man. I'm so sorry. That is terrible. God damn, that was beautiful.
So the most accurate depiction of what my depression is to me in a song that I think I've ever done.
When did you write that one?
A few years ago. And then I just kind of like slipped through the cracks and never played it for anybody. And then I stopped playing music for a couple years, right? So it just never went anywhere. It's just rattled around in my brain.
If I'm like some sort of hot shot, like, hey there, boy, you got some spunk. Like, let's put you in the music studio, see, and we're gonna be printing some cash. What do you bill yourself as? How do you present yourself, promote yourself? Like, what is the packaging? Like, these songs are emotionally all over the place, but
yeah,
you know, I want to. You know, I just don't know. Like, do you, album-wise, like, do you think you paint in pictures? Like, do you think, well, here's the Depression album, and then here's the Redemption album? Like, you know, how do you compartmentalize that?
I don't think life works like that. So I think it'd be a disservice to make an album like that.
Yeah.
Life doesn't work that way. Sometimes, you know, you're sad. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes good things happen. Sometimes people die.
If I'm William Moneybags, how many? That's his name.
Moneybag, gotcha.
How many tracks do you have in the can ready to go?
That haven't been recorded?
Yes.
Let's think. It's gonna be weird, but I have to like play a beat of like it's just how I remember things. Yeah. So there's Ghost, right? And then there's this other new one. I get like kind of bluesy and shit.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah.
That one. And then, you know, Montana and Dig Deep and Hurricane Hannah. And then there's the Whale song. 6. At least 6 songs that haven't been recorded.
Do you remember all the songs you've written?
Most of them. There's some from like that first album that nobody ever knows, like the Sin Sex and Sarcasm album, that I can't remember. Like I've tried and.
What about Business for Thieves, or is it Of Thieves?
Business for Thieves.
For Thieves.
I remember those. Yeah.
Remember that Carpentine one?
Carpentique.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah. Are you talking the fast one?
No, it wasn't that one.
Was it? Oh, Carpentique.
Yeah. Can you play it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Remember when we started in '86? We had one showroom and damn, business grew quick. I had my cars, you had your jewels and cigars. We had the copper teeth, the tea kept us rich. And there was Flanagan's, the drinking in the day. For a nice dinner, I would take you to Santa Fe and steal off to Vegas to stay home and sleep in. I could find heaven in your lips. 'Cause oh, love, please don't go. Because without you, I ain't got no home, love. Oh, I should be the one to go. Because without you, the world gets a bit too cold. Oh, I'd levy all the air in my lungs, but you leave me breathless, so I'm left to my charms and fumbling with trinkets and gifts that don't mean shit, just to tell you my love. You're the one between us it's strong. You're the one that keeps me holding on. This hospital seems deadly, this medicine seems shaky, so I just hold you in my arms. 'Cause oh love, please don't go. And 'cause without you I ain't got no home, love. I should be the one to go. 'Cause without you, the world gets a bit too cold.
That's a great one.
That's a good one.
That's
It's
really
super sad too.
That's a really good one, dude.
Fucking sad as shit.
Who are some like musical acts that people sleep on that they talk a lot of shit, but they're really good and they need more love? In your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, I can think of a bunch of people who I think need more love for sure.
Like who?
Margaret Glaspie, she's one of them. I think she's just phenomenal. Oh, you know what? I guess there is an answer to this. Fiona Apple. Apparently people don't like Fiona Apple, and I think they're all fucking stupid.
What?
Because
I've never met
she
one.
is amazeballs. I'd never listened to her, like, ever.
She's something else.
And then a friend of mine, she was like, shut up, you're going to listen to this with me.
Yeah.
Blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
She is incredible.
Yeah.
And apparently, you know, I don't know, I think she gets like a rap for being like, oh, she's just an angry white lady singing songs. And I'm going to tell all of those people to politely go fuck themselves. Because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like that's just the dumbest, like, that's the dumbest thing to say about this woman. She's just phenomenal.
Yeah. She new record this year too.
And it is good.
Yeah, it's complex.
Yeah. She's just so fucking good.
Yeah. She's one of those, if it's another 5 to 10 years for another album, okay.
I'll wait. It's fine.
Yeah.
She's really great. Let's see. Pine Box Boys. Have you heard of the Pine Box Boys?
I haven't.
I've gone on like a musical journey this year, and I've learned all of these bands that I'd never heard of before. The Pine Box Boys are also really good. They're great storytellers. Like, that's what I love the most about them. They tell these really intricately woven, almost like magical realism stories.
Wow.
There's one called Tales from the Emancipated Head. It's the name of the album.
Wow.
And just great songs about all these like wild characters and these crazy things that they do. And there's, you know, murder and death and sad songs and really fun, like rambunctious. I mean, they cover the bases. And again, their storytelling is just amazing.
Would you call yourself a perfectionist?
No.
What do you say to musicians that, I don't know what you call it, you know, can't let a track go, like they're trying, it's not right yet, you know, all that kind of stuff? We know those people.
Yeah. You gotta learn to just love what you have. Like,
speak to them because they need to hear it.
You gotta learn to love what you have. Like, perfection in music is the dumbest thing that you can try to like put together. Music is about so much more than perfection. It's about like your heart and your soul, and it's about your life. You're sharing yourself with the world every time you play a song, and you are not perfect. I mean, yes, you can strive to be better, and you can strive to make your music better, and you can get close to these things, but like truly and absolutely like aiming because everything's got to be perfect is a horrible way to treat yourself. Music should be, I think, music's more delicate than that. Perfect things are sharp and they have straight edges, and music doesn't. Music is round and wonky, and it can be weird and kitschy, and sometimes you gotta, let yourself wail. And I know I sound strange. I know I sound strange when I wail. I fucking know, and I have a rasp, and I smoke too many cigarettes, but that's okay, because it's a representation of who I am as a person, and I'm not perfect. No one's music should be. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's doing yourself a disservice.
Do you think there's something else going on? Because you're not afraid to be a raw, bare, naked nerve.
Yeah.
And say, hurt me, with your criticism or your what have you. I think people are afraid, like, what other people think, maybe too much.
Yeah, quit. Fuck them. Who cares? Fuck them. Like I said, I was told to stop singing a long time ago. And if I cared that much about what people think, I would have stopped a long time ago. But here I am now, singing sad, sad old man songs. And I think I've gotten kind of good at it.
Yeah.
Because fuck the criticism. Like, your song doesn't have to be for everybody. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to like your music. And that's totally okay. I don't like everybody's music.
Yeah.
Nobody does. It's setting up these ridiculous expectations that I think in the end hurt the artist and the art.
What's an example of a song, I'm sure there's many, that you kind of think is like the composition, the story, the structure, it's kind of perfect? Oh, let me tell you one. Fuck, this is going to be so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. So for years, like for 15 years, my favorite song was Fleetwood Mac's Beautiful Child. I don't know why. I pirated their music when I was like 14, and I didn't know what I was getting. And I heard that song, and I was like, just the first 3 seconds, I was like, it was my favorite song. Like, this just happened. And the exact same thing happened. I had heard Tracy Chapman's Fast Car.
Yeah.
And it was this live version in, I don't think it was, not Harlem. It was Compton, somewhere in California. Harlem. Somewhere in California. And it was like a stop everything that I'm doing. I heard this song and I fucking cried, man. Like it was a big, big, gross cry. And I'm like, that's my favorite song. Like what that song is so intangible. And I mean, movies aspire for that,
Yeah.
Movies spend millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars to affect somebody that way. And it was just so elegant, and it had pictures, you heard pictures. Like, what is an example of a song where you're like, that's kind of perfect?
I think When My Time Comes by Dawes.
Fuck, man, you keep blowing me away. Shit I haven't heard before. I need to hear this.
This one, it's beautiful. I love beautiful vocal harmonies. Like, that's a thing that draws me to music. Like, when I hear people do these beautiful harmonies. And the song's about this guy who's kind of like lost himself, and he's trying to figure out. And he's calling himself out. Like he's like there's like this one line where he's like, I'm sleeping in hallways and I'm drinking perfume. Because he can't seem to get a grasp on life, and the chorus is really big, and it says, "When my time comes, oh," and it's beautiful. And there's like 4-part vocal harmonies, and it's just fucking. I think when I first heard that song, I listened to it on repeat for like a week straight. That was the only song I listened to, and I just kept listening because it hit home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. When My Time Comes by Dawes. Highly recommend it. Everybody should listen to it.
I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, because your music sounds like every track is going to be somebody's favorite song.
I would hope so.
It has that. It has that intangible quality. All right, I'm super happy, and I can't wait to chop this up and hear this again, man. I'm very serious, and take me up on it. I'm not saying I'm Stanley Kubrick or anything, but I get you. I get what you're doing. I see you, and I want to be able to share that, I guess, the way I've done for the past 10 years, try to anyways. But you move me. It's so special. I feel so
appreciate
lucky
that,
to
man.
know you, and I'm glad that you got out of the abyss, man, because
Me too.
that, and I can't lace your boots. Like, I've never felt how that has felt, that kind of betrayal, yet. But, I had a real hard time in 2012, 2013. It was terrible. It was like 9 months of paralysis. And I still get like PTSD from it. And it was all, people will say it was self-inflicted or whatever, but it's like,
Yeah, but it was traumatic to you, and it hurt
Absolutely.
you, and
Yeah.
you still have PTSD. I totally understand that
Yeah.
feeling. There's still things that scare me to this day.
exactly.
And
Something people are going to say, because, I've interviewed, not that this is an interview, but I have talked to people, and I get emails, and they're like, well, this person, did you know that this person did this, and like, take your podcast down or whatever. And, I always talk to my friend or my guest, and I'm like, yo, this person's saying this. Like, I feel like you should know that. What do you want me to do about this? And they're just like, that person's whatever. Stuff like that happens. There's nothing I hate more than... I know you said you haven't been in a fight, and that's good because they're overrated. But there's nothing I hate
sounds
more
like
than...
it hurt.
Then after a fight, and people tell you afterwards, well, I would have did this. I was like, no, you were in the fight. You had your chance to do that. You didn't do it. So that's a big reality of like, you had your shot, you missed. It's what it is. What do you say to someone who is going to reach out to this podcast and say, Adam did this, Adam's that? Like, I guess I want to give you the platform and the opportunity to squash it in this moment.
The person who made the accusations is a horrible lying cunt. She brought in other people who she accused me of doing things to other people, and they're friends of mine. And I called them up, and I was like, are you accusing me of doing shit? And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. I was like, well, there you go. If people aren't going to believe me, they're not going to believe. At this point, it's been years, and if you're set in your ways and you really think I'm just this kind of fucking monster, then I guess you just don't know me. And that's, I feel bad for you, because I think for the most part I'm a pretty nice person.
Yeah.
I like to treat my friends well. I make food for people for fun, because I like to feed people. I said, if you're set in your ways, then you're set in your ways, and I can't change you. The only thing I have any control over is my own behavior and my actions. So I think that would be it. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. I just wanted you to have that opportunity in the moment, because to me, that's my statement,
Yeah.
I co-sign that wholeheartedly. I feel like there's no better way, not to put pressure on you, to end this show, and thank you for this. It's been incredible. I learned a lot. I got a lot out of it, but also was moved. I mean, how often does this happen for anyone to be like an audience of one? It's insane. I just want to give you the mic, and you do you. And if you want to play a song to send us off, I would be very, very grateful for it. And thank you so much for coming on my show.
Which song?
And real fast, where can people support you and find you on the internet?
Spotify. All my Landlocked Pirate stuff is on Spotify. The Albatross album and the Another Drink, like EP, they're on Spotify. That's really the only place to find me, because I disappeared from the world, kind of on purpose. But if you want to listen to it on Spotify, you're more than welcome to. Hopefully, me and my friend Vicky will be recording some stuff soon. I'm very excited about that, because it's some really cool shit. It's really good. It makes me very happy. And I guess I'll keep everybody updated, If something comes up, I'll let you know. I'll make a Facebook post or something. It's really the only place to find. I'm on Facebook. I don't have Twitter or Instagram or any Snapchats.
Yeah.
Or I don't have any of that shit. So, Facebook. Adam Moya. I'm the monkey. All right. Last song. This is a good one. It's called Mausoleum Song. So I'm very mighty lowly. I fought off your family and I kept all your jewels, and hoping for a haunting. Could use a ghost that looks like you. No, I don't believe in miracles, but don't believe in touchdowns. Well, I just believe in fools. I kept all your clothes to build a mausoleum for imaginary folk, and you can let yourself on up. Don't mind me, I don't walk so much, 'cause now that you're in the ground, I can't stand the sight of this town. And I can't take a brand new lover, so I'll take a bottle and this whole bar down. I take this bar down. I take this bar down. Well, I found myself a dancing girl to push me around. Well, hell for the company. I'll make sure that I don't drown. Trying to forget you, 'cause Lord, I'm such a fool. 'Cause now that you're in the ground, I can't stand the sight of this town. And I can't take a brand new lover, so I'll take a bottle in this whole bar down. I take his bar down. I take his bar down. So
Adam Moya, everybody. I think that might be my favorite. That's a good one.
Good one. Mausoleum song.
Thanks, man.
I really enjoyed this, man. Thank you very much. I had a great time.
Come meet my family.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.